But no, we're talking about Josh Powers and TK Stark.
Yeah.
Familiar with those guys from their days in the PWF, Steve Corino's promotion. Steve and Rob Fortin, good guys. You were the champion there for well over 200 days. That's where I met you. That's where I met you, dude.
You harassed me for 200 days.
Oh,
I believe that.
I brought you donuts and I took you out to a buffet. I mean, come on.
One of the best buffet, Casey's buffet, right?
Yeah, you remember, yeah.
I don't forget that.
Okay. But let's talk about the PWF experience a little bit, because again, I'm very familiar with that. Corino, I think, is finally gotten his due. He's finally got a job with the big office now. I was afraid that he was never going to get there, and he's just such a great mind and such a positive dude.
Yeah. So kind of, I don't know if you ever know how this came about. So I went to Ring of Honor camp in, I don't remember what year it was. So I went to Ring of Honor camp in Philadelphia, spent 2 days there, and Steve, I was a huge Steve Corino fan as a kid. ECW, he was my favorite, like by far my favorite. Like I dyed my hair blonde. Like I wanted to be Steve Corino. And I went to the Ring of Honor camp, and after the camp, Steve pulled me to the side and he said, "Hey, here's my number. Like, I really like you. I want to use you at my promotion." I was like, "Oh, cool." And he's like, and I was living in the Carolinas. So he was like, "Give me a call." So I shot him a text like a couple days later, and he said, "Hey, I got a show, this date. You're booked." I'm like, "Cool." I show up, do a match. It was a battle royal. And my first time there, and I throw Zane Riley out, and they're handing me the belt. I'm like, "What?" And Steve's like, "You're the champion." That was it.
Wow.
And I had a really good showing at the Ring of Honor camp. I thought that I had a really good shot. Problem is, which is part of the wrestling problem with the wrestling business, is the pay your dues. It's the dumbest thing ever. They wanted me to keep showing up to shows on my own dime to show that I was dedicated. So I showed up. I went to Baltimore. I went to Philadelphia. I went, took off vacation time from work, showed up, set up the ring, did everything. And they're like, "You got to keep coming." And I'm like, "Yeah, it's just I also have a real job and kids, and
right.
they're going to use me or not." Like my this is what I used to say. Would you ever show up, you want a job at McDonald's? Would you ever just show up to McDonald's for 2 months straight, not getting paid, making burgers in hopes of getting a job? No. Right? So why would I do that in the wrestling world? I did my job interview. Either you're going to hire me or you're not going to hire me. I'm not going to sit here and be a clown and come every day. Whatever. So I didn't, that didn't pan out because I didn't stick it out, which is fine. Whatever. But Steve gave me the opportunity. I won the belt that night, and I was the longest reigning PWF champion until John Schuyler beat me, and I think John Schuyler became the longest reigning. I think I had way more defenses than John Schuyler because I was defending it every month. I defended that belt in Florida. I defended that belt in other promotions. That was a great experience because I look up to Steve. I think he's an awesome mind. I was able to know that he's a great guy, great father. So, I love his mom to death. And that was a really cool year there for me. And the original plan was Steve obviously got hired by WWE at that point during my reign. And the night I dropped the title, it was like, do you want to drop it or do you want to keep it? But if you keep it, things are changing because Steve's not going to be here. We're not going to be able to pay you like Steve was and this and that and the other. And I said, I'll just drop it because I'm not going to come back, for nothing. And I just felt like they didn't want me to be the champion. But Steve told me one day we were at the airport, and I think we were flying to Florida together because I worked his show, and then I think we flew to Florida. I worked Steve and Colby in a cage, me and Frankie.
I remember that.
And we were at the airport, and he said his goal was to keep it on me for 2 years. That was his goal. But after he got hired and everything happened, so I was almost made a year and we dropped it. But that was a cool experience, and I got to work some really good guys like John Schuyler, Colby Corino,
C-Dub.
Breton. What's that?
C-Dub, CW.
the CW match was one of my favorite matches. It's on YouTube. It's one of my favorite matches.